going to be the last day of sun for a while, which is a bit sad. Today I'm going to talk about what is wrong with me and what are my little box bastards, which is lots of swearing for this time of day. I appreciate that, but you know me. Just before I get going, I am just going to quickly share my sponsor with you. 2 seconds.
The biggest problem with insurance is that people don't actually understand how it works. Not only how they can protect themselves, but their children as well. If you would like to learn more about how you can do this, from life insurance, critical illness cover, income protection and children's cover, then please get in touch today. I'm Carla Edwards from The Protection Parent, and please let me help you protect what matters most.
Right, thanks, Carla. And hello again, everybody. Right, what is wrong with me? Okay, no, it sounds pretty obvious question, really, but honestly, people look at me now sometimes and as like, why isn't she dead yet? And that's because obviously in 2016 I probably should have popped my clogs, and I'm very much alive, as you can see. So what is going on? Well, what happened was I was diagnosed with inflammatory breast cancer, which is very aggressive and very rare. It's 1% of breast cancers are inflammatory. It generally has a prognosis of 2 to 5 years. And as some of you guys know, I was misdiagnosed for about 9 months before I was diagnosed. And this cancer can like double in size in 72 hours, I've read somewhere. So it's very aggressive. But I'm still here. But what is my situation? So my situation is that I have stage 4 cancer. Now, what is stage 4 cancer? A lot of people don't know that. I wouldn't have thought it meant, I wouldn't have known what it meant before. And actually, it was only until I was diagnosed that I realized we don't even have a stage 5 in the UK. That's, I believe, an American thing. So we have stage 4. So our stage 5 is death. And stage 4 basically means if you've had cancer in a primary site, so with me, my boob, and then it's spread to a distant part of your body. So in my case, my lungs and my skin and the blood vessels and stuff below that skin, which classes it as stage 4. Now, once something is stage 4, it means it is incurable. So some people would refer to that as terminal. Now, I don't refer to it as a terminal illness. For me, I'm just me. I'm just Heidi. I have cancer, it's pain in the bum. I have to go for chemo every 3 weeks for the rest of my life. But I don't class myself as terminally ill. It really depends on who you ask what the definition of that is. An oncologist would say one thing, an insurance person would say something else. But it is something that people with stage 4 cancer do get sort of branded with, because in layman's terms, other people can understand what that means. It's a life-limiting illness. But the way I look at it, and the easiest way to explain it, is little box bastards. So if you imagine you have cancer, this is a cancer cell. Okay, sorry, Mr. Stormtrooper with the camera. This is cancer, okay, and it's in your body somewhere flying around. Now, what chemotherapy does is it would come up and effectively put its hands around the cancer like a box and stop it from moving off anywhere else. But Mr. Stormtrooper in here is always there working out how he's going to break through this box. And the thought is that eventually the Stormtrooper wins, that he will break through the box and he'll run off into another part of your body. And then that's not to say that when he runs off somewhere else, you can't then put another box around him with a different chemotherapy, and then he'll sit there trying to come up with another plan on how to break through the box. Okay, this little bastard does not give up. But how long can you keep him in the box for? it's an impossible question to answer, but in my situation, I've managed to keep him in the box for a very, very long time so far. Basically, what I would be classed as now is what the doctors and in people in Cancerland, so fellow cancer patients, would refer to as either NEAD or NED. Okay, so NEAD means no evidence of active disease. And what that means is there's nothing to suggest that you have cancer that's actively trying to shit over your life, basically, within your body. So that's what I'm classed as, because in my lungs there was cancer. We can see that some of the nodules have shrunk, but they're not active. So there's every time I have a CT scan and everything's remained the same, it says that there's no evidence, there's nothing to suggest that anything has changed. There's no evidence of active disease. And NED is no evidence of disease. So you can still be stage 4 and then everything's disappeared and then there's no evidence of the disease there at all. But when you're stage 4, regardless, because people say to me, oh, you must be all right now, Heidi. Look at you, look really normal. And obviously, most of that's associated with whether you have your own hair or not, and whether you're puking or whatever. You must be all right now. You know, you look great. And I do. And I'm not saying yes, I do look great. I feel great. I'm really healthy, cancer aside, and all that malarkey. But I can't risk taking the box away from the stormtrooper. So I can't stop the treatment and just see what happens because the risk is too great. So the treatment that I have. Oh, sorry, Siri. He's not sure he understands. The treatment that I have is basically just to always ensure that we're not giving him the opportunity to get out and we're lessening his chances of escape. And hopefully that makes sense, because it is quite hard to explain, because even my mum looks at me sometimes and she's like, yeah, I don't really understand. And I'm like, well, I don't blame you, because it's bloody complicated. Because I guess what I'm trying to say is that everybody is completely different. Everybody's cancer diagnosis and cancer situation, and I did say situation, is completely different. There isn't a one size fits all. Before I had cancer, I thought chemotherapy was one drug. I mean, it isn't. There's so many of them. It's unbelievable. But you just don't know until you're in that situation. And the main thing is to constantly keep Stormtrooper in the box and to be doing as well as you can. And there's nothing to say that I won't live until I'm way over 100, which I'm determined to do, with stage 4 cancer. And what we've got to try and do is change people's mindsets a little bit about what stage 4 really is. Because a few years ago, stage 4 would mean curtains, really. Everyone would get that diagnosis, I'm sorry, your cancer has spread, and they would think, right, that's it, I'm screwed. But actually, that is not the case. As you can see with me sitting here before you, even when things are really dire, and at one point, things were really dire, it was a case of, set your affairs in order. But there's nothing to say now, with all the amazing medicine that there is out there, that you couldn't live forever with a stage 4 diagnosis. So if anybody or anybody's watching this has just had that news, or maybe about to get that news in the future, I just want you to remember that all is not lost, because I am so super fit and healthy and work. I do everything that everybody else does. And you meet me for the first time, you'd have absolutely no idea what was going on. So you've just got to think about the little stormtrooper staying in his box for as long as possible. And the more medicine we get, the stronger that box gets. And that is fact. There are new things coming up all the time. Hope is not lost. Okay. So that's it. And thank you for listening. I'm just going to click on your comments box in case anybody's, because I keep missing your questions. And I'm really sorry about that. And I read them afterwards. Hello, very well explained. Oh, thank you. I thought I was going off on a bit of a tangent with the old stormtrooper. Very helpful explanation, Storm in a Tit Cut by Heidi. Unlike Siri, I now understand much more. Thank you. Thank you. Brilliant. Thank you very much, everybody. That's really great. I hope it's been helpful. I mean, I'm a bit of a waffler, but if there's any subjects you want me to cover, please ask me, because I'll talk about anything. So just you can either send me a PM or just comment on the links below. And thank you guys. Thanks very much. And I shall speak to you soon. Bye.